Ladies and gentlemen, boys and welcome to episode 72 of the Speared Sundays podcast, also known as my neighbour's favourite time of the week, where I yell for an hour because I know they can hear me and I feel a little bit guilty about it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this is the podcast. Welcome, episode 72. I'm here by myself today, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Actually, you know what? I like the ones by myself because I can't be fucked organising guests. It's the biggest fuck around. That's why I thought about having a weekly podcast where it was like, where I would have a new guest every week. I know Josh Wade is doing that and he's doing it really well. He's managed to get heaps of guests, but I don't know how he can be fucking bothered. And also, I really don't like that many people. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you are having a guest on once a week, you're going to need to talk to cunts you don't like. There's just, especially in Australia, like there's just not enough people. Like me, I feel great where I'm like, oh look, I'm just going to talk by myself and that'll happen every week. And then maybe every now and then I'll have somebody that I like. And if our schedules line up, I never book it in. I'm never like, we're going to do it on this day, on this date. I never do people that I don't actually know, which, as you saw, was a fucking catastrophe with the Riff Raff one. That's the first person who I didn't actually know on the podcast, and it was a fucking disaster. So I'm very happy with my choice, because you know Josh Wade's probably sitting there fucking against. And by the way, I'm not shit-talking him. His podcast is great. I've listened to a few episodes. I was even on it. But I'm just talking about the method behind it. If I was in his position, I would just be sitting across the desk. It'd happen at least once every 2 months where you'd be sitting across the desk listening to some fuckhead going, yeah, so, look, I've got a really big Instagram following and, yeah, look, so I'm just really thankful for my fans. And you'd just be sitting across the desk going, you fucking shit, you're shit. You're up yourself and you're an asshole. It doesn't have to be an Instagram model. It could be fucking anybody. Maybe, you know what? He was probably thinking that while he was talking to me. You fucking wanker. But, yeah, so why did I even talk about that? You know what's going to happen now? All these cunts are going to tweet Josh and be like, oh, Lewis was shit-talking you on the podcast. Why did I say that? Now people are definitely going to do it. Oh, no. But, yeah, Josh Wade's podcast is actually very good. You guys should really listen to it. And I don't know. Maybe he does like it. You know what? Josh is such a nice person. I bet he doesn't actually think that. I've just completely projected my own feelings onto somebody else. Yet again, where I'm like, oh... Dude, I'm not the most rational person out there when I think about it. Like the shit that I do, other people don't do. The shit that pisses me off doesn't piss other people off. I'm fucking weird. But I realize that, but at the same time, I can't put myself in other people's shoes without making it about me. Like, I look at what Josh is doing and I'm like, oh, if I did that, that'd suck. I'd hate it. Whereas he's doing it probably because he likes it, but I can't even fucking see that. Like, the first thing I think is, if I was doing that, it would make me feel this, rather than I wonder what somebody else feels. I don't know. Maybe I'm a fucking sociopath. Who knows? Anyway, I've been buying, right? I've changed my life, guys. I've changed my fucking life because you know what I've been doing? I've been buying fruit and vegetables. That's amazing to me, anyway. I never used to, I feel like an adult. I'm 23 now, and I've only just started buying my own fruit and vegetables. And it's not like I never bought food for myself. It's just something that I never did. And I don't think I'm particularly unhealthy. Like, I don't eat bad things. My problem is I just don't eat, enough. I know that I don't. I've been a lot better recently now that I'm going to the gym because I'm trying to put on weight for this fucking big thing I got coming up. But... generally, if I'm not trying, my general fucking natural eating habits is just not enough. I'm fucked up, man. I actually don't mind the feeling of being hungry. I don't mind. It's all right. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's like I feel hungry. I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. That's pretty cool. And I just live with it. I'm like, yeah, sweet, man. I don't know. I can't explain it. Everyone I tell that to thinks I'm insane. And you know what? Even I listen to that. I'm like, yeah, that's retarded. That's like kind of enjoying a bodily function that only exists to keep you alive. Like, imagine if a dude just didn't shit for 3 weeks. He's like, I don't know, man, I just don't like shitting. Well, it's not that I don't like shitting, it's that I like the feeling of being filled with shit and needing to poop. That's like me with eating. Well, I'm talking shit, literally. Anyway, so I've been getting fruits and vegetables, and you know what? It changed my life. It's made me feel a lot better. Not much the fruit, because I did always kind of eat fruit whenever I could, because, you know, I still live at home, so mum buys fruit, and I eat that. But I've just been buying fruit that I like. Like, I got a bowl of grapes on my desk. Do you know how fucking good grapes are? And everybody likes them, and when's the last time you actually had some? Never. And they're cheap as fuck too. I don't know what all these fat cunts are talking about. It's so expensive to be healthy. No, it's not. It's way cheaper. You go out there and you buy a fucking grapes that'll literally last you a week of snacks that you can have instead of your fucking $2 a pop Mars bar. And you can get like grapes that'll last you for a week for like $3. You know why it's so cheap? It's because it dies. You know, your Mars bar will never die. They've got fucking Mars bars that'll still be edible 100 years after the nuclear holocaust. You'll still be able to eat one and be like, the classic taste of a good old Mars bar. You're not going to be eating grapes in 100 years. You can still drink a fucking can of Coke. That's what I'm saying. And it's cheap because it goes off, so the store's like, nah, take it, please, before we can't sell it. Eat it before it'll kill you. It's like buy it before it turns into a lawsuit for us. That's the kind of shop that you run when you're like a butcher or a health food shop. Not a health food shop, a fruit shop. If you run any kind of fruit shop or butcher, basically you're just trying to get your stock out of the store before it kills one of your customers. It's either you eat it or I have to put it in the bin. If you run a fucking lolly shop and you're just selling garbage food like McDonald's that just never goes off, you keep it in fucking preservative soaked deep freeze ice age, it just doesn't go off. There's no incentive for you to make the prices, like they make the prices cheap, but that's only so you buy more of it. You know, this, even though a fucking cheeseburger costs $10, you know it costs them 10 cents to make. Like, they'd still be raping it with the profit margin. What am I talking? That's right. Yeah, anyway, I'm talking about how vegetables is the main thing that I've just been buying for myself. And I've just been making an effort to eat enough because I read this fucking insane statistic. I've been all about statistics recently. I've been reading shit and then like applying it to my own life, which is very rare for me. Normally I read something and then I believe it and then I don't do anything. But this time I'm reading it and actually researching stuff. I don't know what's happened to me. Maybe I've got a fucking... And maybe I had a stroke recently and I'm just like, you know what? Instead of being an angry, uninformed person, why don't I be an angry, informed person? Right? So I read this insane statistic that said something like only 3% of Australians actually eat the right amount of vegetables. Like they only 3% actually eat enough of them. Like a healthy amount, which means 97% are eating an unhealthy amount of vegetables, which is basically like zero. And I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense because I'll eat a fucking Big Mac that has, you know, dead GMO lettuce that'll give you autism in it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a veggie. So what I've started doing, right, and it's the easiest shit. All I do is I go down to the fucking supermarket and I don't fuck with fresh vegetables because I reckon that shit is worse than the frozen stuff. Like, it's actually less fresh. You know, if they transport a fucking cabbage from the farm and then they put it on a truck and like all of these people earning $3 an hour with their dirty fucking hands pick it up and then put it on the truck, and then they put it on the truck and it's probably filled with chemicals to keep it alive, or not alive, just looking like it's still alive. And then they deliver that fucking cabbage and they give it to the fruit shop person, and then that travel took like 3 days, and then it sits in the shop for another 4 days until they have to throw it out. I don't do that because I don't trust it. I buy the frozen shit. Because it's frozen, right? If it's frozen, it's basically suspended animation. And I read somewhere that apparently that actually, when you defrost it, it actually works out to be fresher because they pick it and then they freeze it on the same day. And even if it takes a month to travel until it gets to you, it doesn't matter because it's fucking frozen, right? So I buy the frozen shit. I just buy, I go and get the fucking bird's eye broccoli and then the bird's eye beans in the pod. You know those ones? Those, I don't know what to call them. They're fucking, you know, the fucking peas before they take out probably what's the best part for you. You know, I don't know, the leaf cocoon. I don't know what you fucking call it, right? It's peas in a pod. You know what I'm saying? I just get them and I literally, like, it's the last thing that I eat every day now. I literally just put like a serving of each of them. By that I mean I just fill up a bowl, half with broccoli and then half with those fucking beans in the pod. And then I just eat that. And like I don't fuck with salad dressing, I don't put any salt on it, I don't put anything on it, I just eat that and it's good. I actually surprise myself, and everybody. Whenever I tell my girl that, she goes, "What do you mean you just eat it by yourself? What are you so? You're so weird." I'm like, dude, it's a fucking vegetable. Like, just eat it. It doesn't taste that bad. You don't need to put fucking sauce that's pretending it's not 60% sugar on a fucking broccoli. Like, you're killing yourself. Like, that just, all of the good work that you're doing with a vegetable, 90% of the time is completely cancelled out by whatever the fucking salad dressing they put all over it. Like, you can't even eat a salad now without it making you obese and giving you heart disease. So I'm just like, I've just started, you know what it is? I don't do seasoning. I never have and I never will. I don't do seasoning and I don't do sides either. Fuck sides, alright? When I order a chicken parmigiana, that's what I want. I don't want any fucking chips. I don't care if they're free. I don't want them. I just want to eat the chicken and have a bit of cheese and a bit of sauce on there. And that's all that I need. Those chips are just going to kill me later. That's when we really started fucking up. That's what's really causing the obesity crisis is sides. Because when you go to a pub now, I mean, it's been getting worse as well. Like we're becoming like America with our serving sizes, where it's not... we're not really eating unhealthily. We're just eating way too much of everything. And it's this whole fucking culture of, you gotta finish everything on your plate or you can't play video games. It's like, no, you should eat until you're not hungry. Don't finish everything on your plate because if you don't, your mum will cry. Fuck your mum, alright? I'd rather have a sad mum than obese kids. That's what we need. We need more sad mums that don't get offended. Like, dude... I can't cook. I imagine that when I hit 40 and I have children, that's not going to change. I'll be straight up. My dad sucks at cooking sausages. He'll cook sausages and he'll burn them. And he knows. He doesn't get pissed off if we go, "Hey, Dad, I'm sorry, I can only eat one of these because they suck." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but what are you going to do? What are you expecting me to learn to cook sausages properly?" I haven't eaten something... like dinner cooked by my parents for the longest time because Dad usually cooks and he just sucks at it, and that's fine. He doesn't get cut over it, but there's too many mums there who can't admit that they're shit cooks. So they just force their kids to eat everything, and then they get into this habit from like day zero of, "I've got to eat everything on my plate, otherwise I'm being rude." And then when they go to a fucking all-you-can-eat pub, not even an all-you-can-eat, it's just regular pubs now. Like, these kids will go to a pub and they get this fucking, I don't know, steroided up chicken breast and they put it on the plate and that takes up the whole fucking plate. And then under the chicken, there's an entire serving of chips. Or 3 servings worth of chips. And then they also have a salad. And they feel like because they eat the chicken and the chips, they feel better when they eat the salad. Even though it's covered in dressing that's basically fucking poison, right? Dude, I had this friend, right, in high school, and he was a real fat cunt, and he was just the most unhealthy person. You ever meet those people that they're just unhealthy? Like they smoke and they eat everything and they drink, and And you're just like, dude, how do you do that to yourself? Surely you feel the repercussions of that. I mean, you look like shit. I can already tell that your body hates you. That it can't deal with what you're doing to it. And they don't give a fuck at all. Like, it's just not something that they've even considered. They're just like, I don't know, I just like eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. I like Mountain Dew. What are you going to do? You know, those people. I had a mate like that in high school, and he's still the same now, where we always used to make fun of him. He was a good friend, but we always used to make fun of him because he would eat this trash food all the time, like just shit. He would eat bad, awful food all day, but then he would, like, at the end of the day, he would eat an apple and he would feel better about that. Like, and we would always make fun of him. It's like, dude, just because you ate an apple doesn't mean you're healthy now. Like, really, when you think about it, if you eat a fuckload of food, having an apple as well is just worse. Like, that's just more food. Like, if I ate 10,000 fucking broccoli stalks, I'd still get fat. It'd just be because of broccoli. Like, it's calories in, calories out, dude. It's not that hard. How about eat the apple and skip the Coke? Like, that'd make you feel even better than that. I always look at those people like you know those fucking it's the people who are like that, but they also smoke. He didn't smoke, but you know when you see those people in the city, they work in office jobs and they're so fucking fat that you don't even understand how they tuck their shirt in. Like me, my shirt makes sense, right? When I tuck it in, when I put on a shirt, it goes from my shoulders all the way down to my hips, and then I just wrap my pants around that. But these fat cunts, their shirts are like doing acrobatics. Like it comes from their shoulders, and then it has to travel 50 miles vertically until they get to the end of their gut, and then it has to do this weird spelunking thing underneath their belly, so it gets to their fucking hips, and then it goes down. And it's like, where did you get that shirt, man? That's a fucking technological mastery going on there. How does that shirt fucking fit you? But then you see them and they're also smoking, and they've got a Coke. I see those people and it just amazes me at the power of the human body, like its ability to tolerate that, like to just put up with it and stay alive. Like, dude, you put a fish in some dirty water and it'll die in half an hour. Whereas you can get a human to breathe toxic fumes 10 times a day for 30 years and it'll get cancer and might even win with the right treatment. It's like, that shit fucking amazes me. No wonder we're top of the food chain. We can't even kill ourselves. How many times have you read about someone fucking taking a whole bunch of pills and surviving? We can't be killed, man. Like if you really think about how people die, it's either through old age or an incredibly horrific accident or murder, right? Or like a violent murder. Like, it's so rare that you'll hear about somebody falling over and dying. Like, if they're 80... But even then, they're 80. To me, that's just natural causes, right? That's basic. If you hit 88 and you fall over and we're getting out of the bath and you bash your head and die, that's basically the same as dying in your sleep. Like, yeah, it was either going to happen like that or in a nursing home while the fucking ward getting paid $12 an hour molests you in your sleep. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you're going to go when you're 88. I'm never putting myself in a retirement home, man. I'd rather die. Fuck that. The amount of stories that I've read of fucking shit people just abusing the old cunts, and they've all got dementia so they forget, and their families put up hidden cameras. You know, that's what I'm going to do, man. If I ever have to put my parents in a home, one, it'll be a very expensive one, and two, I'm fitting it out with cameras and I'm not telling the staff. I'll put it in the bathroom. I'll glue a GoPro to my mum's head, and it'll have like a blinking fucking light and text on it that says, "Don't rape her." Because that shit happens, man. Remember reading this story about this dude that was stuck in a coma? I think I might have talked about this before. This dude that was stuck in a fucking coma. and he couldn't move, but his brain was present, so he could hear and understand everything that was going on. It was like he'd just been locked out of his body, and the dude got molested by people, but he couldn't tell his mum, all this horrible shit, and then he wrote a whole book about it. Fuck that. You know, that's a horrible story, and I'm sure that he's a great person, but fuck that, it'd be a boring book. Like, it's like, all right, we get it. You're stuck in bed. Oh, fuck. What are you thinking about today? How did I get here? I was talking about vegetables, and now I'm laughing about some guy in a coma that got raped. Like, I swear, man, this podcast is going to get in headlines. You wait. Give me fucking 3 years when I get a movie or a TV show. You know those fucking Twitter cunts are going to be just going through backlogs of this podcast, listening to it on 3 times speed. There'll be like 10 BuzzFeed reporters listening to my podcast on 10 times speed, just pausing it, transcribing. Laughed about man in coma getting raped at 90 minutes 40, episode 72. And then they just file it. And then they pick up the 10 worst and write an article. You could do, dude, this podcast could ruin my career, but I don't give a fuck. Let him come. You know, I do stand-up shows. At the end of the day, I know that's why I don't really give a fuck about what I say, because you guys understand that it's jokes, and also I have my stand-up to fall back on. It's the best shit ever. Like, I feel sorry for actors. Like, an actor can basically never exist on their own. A stand-up comic can become really funny, write their own show, attract their own audience, sell tickets. And that's it. You don't need middlemen. When you get to a certain point, you need to hire people, but you remain their boss, right? You can't get fired. There's no way that someone can take funniness away from you unless you fuck up really bad. Like Kramer, you know, yelling racist shit at the Comedy Store or wherever that happened, right? That's the only way you can really fuck up, and even then you can come back from that. Like he fucked up the return. He should have done like a I don't know. He should have done a return tour. Like, dude, Bill Cosby raped like 70 chicks, and he's about to start touring again because he got acquitted. And the main reason he got away with it was because the statute of limitations ran out. Why is there a statute of limitation? Like, if something happens to you 20 years ago in America or something, they can't be prosecuted for it. Why does that exist for rape? Like, what if someone gets raped when they're like 3 and then they only have the balls to come forward when they're 30? That doesn't make sense to me. You know what? I also haven't looked this up at all. Like, I just read about the statute of limitations in Bill Cosby's fucking article, and then I just applied it to child rape. But, you know, I never, sorry about that. I never claimed to be an informed person. Speaking of fat cunts, I read the funniest shit the other day. I'm sorry that I'm bashing fat people. The point, look, let me go back to me. I've been eating vegetables, and I'm done with the fat shit now. I'll talk about this next week, because it's 20 minutes of bashing. Well, it wasn't really bashing fatties. It was just bashing unhealthy people. Like, there's so many people out there that look like me that are unhealthy as fuck. But I've been turning it around. Like, I've been putting on weight. I put on 7 kilos so far, which is pretty good. I've been sticking to the gym. I haven't been going as often as I would like. Like, I've been managing once and twice a week here and there, but I need 3. I need at least 3, and that's what I'm going for this week. I went yesterday. Did I? No, I went 2 days ago. I'm going today, and then I'm going to go again on Saturday. I'm recording this on Thursday, by the way. If you listen to Patreon, you'll be hearing it on Thursday, but otherwise everyone's Sunday. I've been turning it around. I put on 7 kilos. You guys will be happy to hear, and I've been doing the whole vegetable thing. And you know what really helped me with going to the gym? I was struggling. I was only going once a week, twice a week, but I've unlocked the key of going to gym. I was struggling to get motivation to do it because I used to love going. When I was like 18, I used to fucking love it. I was a personal trainer. I was right into it. I was 10 kilos heavier than I am now. I looked great. Whenever I tell someone I used to be a personal trainer, they laugh at me. And you know what? I can't even get mad because I would too. But you know what it is? I was just sitting there one day and I was like, why don't I like going to the gym anymore? Why don't I like it anymore? Because I used to genuinely love it. I would get excited to go. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. And I just never got that. I don't get that anymore. And I was like, why don't I like going to the gym? Why can't I go? And I came to the realization it's because comedy is so much better. Like, I found my thing. I found my main passion. And everything else kind of pales in comparison to that. Do you know what I mean? Like me going to the gym now, it's all right. I used to love it. But when I loved going to the gym, I was not doing comedy. Like, gym was my number one thing. And now comedy is. I'm like, oh, I love performing. I'm writing dick jokes and all this shit, making videos. And this is the thing that I do. And then I didn't get excited about gym anymore. And I came to the realization of, oh, fuck, I'm never going to like gym that much anymore. I'm never going to like gym as much as I like comedy. And it was like this fucking eureka moment where I was like, oh my God, I hate the gym. I hate the gym. I fucking hate the gym. And it was just, it's unlocked this moment in my brain where I figured out where I stood with the gym. And now that I know that I don't like it anymore, it's so much easier to go. Now I feel like a badass. I'm like, I hate the gym, but you know what? I'll go anyway. Like, that's how I feel now. Rather than trying to force myself to feel passionate about something that I didn't like but I had to do, I just kind of acknowledged my true feelings about it, which was like, I don't like it that much anymore. I don't really like going. I don't really enjoy it. I mean, I kind of like it when I'm there, but you know, I wanted to. The main thing was, I was trying to make myself excited for something that was just not exciting to me anymore. And once I figured out my true feelings of it, I was like, oh, okay, I don't like it, and I'm probably never going to love it anymore. So now I can figure out how to motivate myself to go, rather than trying to force myself to get excited for it. I can just be like, oh, I don't like it. Oh, that makes so much more sense. And now I don't know. Does that make sense? I feel like it does. Maybe that's how girls feel about anal. I don't like it, but you know, I just gotta do it because it'll make my relationship better, and that'll make my life better. And you know what? I don't like anal. I don't like anal. Next minute, she's doing it every week. So yeah, basically what I'm saying, guys, is treat the gym like anal sex with your boyfriend, and you'll smash it. You'll go every week. Good luck to you, all right? There's Lewis's advice. Someone make that into a fucking thing on Twitter, like a motivational quote. I want it to be like black and white with my head on the left side, and then I don't know, maybe like a scenic view just behind me, like, I don't know, a mountain range or something inspirational. It could be like a mountain. It could be like a lion. It could be like the stairs from Rocky. And then in the middle of that, it's the quote: treat the gym like anal, and you'll go every week. Lewis Spears, 2017. I want that on my doorstep fucking next week. What else am I talking about today? Oh, speaking of relationships, can you cunts get the fuck out of mine? Oh, man. The amount of... I had Jazz on the podcast, and you know why I don't post pictures of her and shit is because every time I do, cunts are fucking trying to figure out how our relationship is shit. Or not even how it's shit, or just trying to get way too far into my life. And I'm not comfortable with it. That's why I don't post photos of it. She's like, why don't you post a photo of me for our 5-year anniversary? It's like, because they're not my friends. I respect you guys coming and liking my shit, but you know, you're not my close friend. I don't know. I suppose I'm a kind of a private person. I just don't like having my personal life out there on social media. You know, I've always thought if I wasn't trying to do comedy, I probably wouldn't have a Facebook. Like, if you really think about it, if you're actually a person, why do you, like you're not trying to attain something like a career through social media, what do you use it for? Laughing at fucking dumb memes? And people are like, oh, it's to keep in contact with my friends. That's a bullshit argument because you got the Messenger app for that now. Like, you can actually delete Facebook and just have the Messenger thing. That's great. It's an awesome idea. Then you can just fucking message someone instead of tagging them in a meme of some panda falling over. Just talk to the cunt. But yeah, anyway, so we talked about on last week's podcast about how it was our 5-year anniversary, and then like a couple days after that, I posted on my Instagram just a compilation of spot nebses that I've been sent from the past couple of weeks, and in the podcast I joked about not getting Jazz anything for our 5-year anniversary because I got no money, and then I said, oh look, I'll take you to McDonald's. As a joke, right? And then I posted a couple days later a photo of me and Jazz in a food court and McDonald's was in the background. And everyone was like, oh, he wasn't joking. He actually did take her to McDonald's for the anniversary. What an asshole. It's like, dude, no, I didn't. That photo was from fucking weeks ago. And I'll have you know that we weren't even eating McDonald's, all right? We're in a food court. We're surrounded by shops. We had Snits, which is $10 per thing, all right? Actually, mine was $13, all right? So I didn't take her to fucking Macca's for our anniversary, you cunts. What kind of person do you think I am? Do you really think our relationship would last for 5 years if I was taking her to McDonald's? Like, dude, I would not want to date a person who was okay with that. I'd be like, hey, babe, I'll take you to McDonald's for your birthday. And she's like, yeah. Like, really? You're excited about that? Fuck, I must be shit. That would make me feel insecure about myself. If her standards were that low that she would accept Macca's for her birthday, I'd be like, well, fuck. I'm like the people version of a Big Mac. It's like not exactly what you want, but it kind of fills that empty hole inside you. So no, you cunts, I didn't take her to Macca's for her birthday. I'll have you know, it was her birthday recently as well. It was her birthday, and then like 2 weeks after that, it was our 5-year anniversary. I'll have you know, right? I got her an Apple Watch for her birthday, you fucking assholes. I went all the way to the blue shirt cunt store, the fucking Apple store with her. I made it a surprise because my front camera on my iPhone was glitching out. It was shaking, and it was shaking. It couldn't focus. Like apparently, it's a common issue, right? The camera couldn't focus on something, so it would just keep zooming in and out really rapidly. And it was so fast that it just looked like when I was holding it, I was shaking. So I filmed all these Snapchats with it, and I didn't even realize that it was doing that. And then all these people started messaging me, go, bro, stop fucking shaking the camera. Hold your hand still. Do you have Parkinson's? Are you on drugs? Are you going through withdrawal? I'm like, what are these cunts talking about? There must be something wrong with my Snapchat. And then I started looking at my Snapchat, and I uninstalled it, and I reinstalled it, and then I figured out it was my camera. Because I thought it was my screen, right? I thought it was the screen fucking up. And then I was trying to fix my fucking screen and Googling screen issues and doing all these fixes. And then I was like, oh, it must be the camera. And then I Googled that, and apparently it's just a normal issue that happens with my phone if you've had it for that long. I'm like, oh, there we go, Apple. There's the fucking planned obsolescence coming right in to trick me into buying a new phone, right? But I'm not that dumb. So I went down to the Apple store. And I took my girlfriend as well. And I lied about, it was on her birthday, so I was doing the whole thing that would make her hate me for being selfish, but then, haha, it turns out it's actually a nice thing for you, which, by the way, guys, is the best way to surprise your girlfriend, right? Because not only does it confuse her, because she'll be like, oh, it's my birthday, why are we doing things for him? This sucks. He's always so selfish, and then you reveal, actually, this is something for you. Then she goes, oh, wow, you surprised me. I don't know. There's something about confusing a girl's emotions that makes them love you more. And I'm not saying like backhand her and then say I did that because I love you. I'm talking about taking her to the Apple store and letting her think that it's for you when in reality you're about to buy something nice. You know what I mean? So we go to the blue shirt cunt store and I give her my fucking phone. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I have not dropped my phone. I've taken great care of it. Your camera is fucking up. fix it. And they're like, all right, well, first of all, you walk in there and there's this fucking cunt with an iPad because all of them have been initiated. Dude, that place is 100% a cult. I remember my girlfriend was talking about, she had an Android phone. She mentioned Android in the store and you just saw the person's face glaze over. It's like if you walked into a Catholic church and then you just mentioned that your girlfriend's Muslim, and it's like they don't say anything, but they just go, oh yeah, one of those, huh? Alrighty then, I know what kind of person you are. Someone who's not on my team. You know, it was like that fucking thing. Anyway, so we walk in the store and I'm trying to play it cool. Because, you know, I am about to surprise it, but also, main thing, I want to get my fucking phone fixed so I can film some shitty videos, right? So I go to the guy with the iPad, I'm like, hey man, my phone's fucked, can you fix it? And he goes, oh sure, what I'll do is I'll just book you in with an appointment with one of our staff here. I'm like, what do you mean, book me in? Like, we're all in the same fucking room. Why don't you just say, hey, go and talk to Tom, he's free. Why don't you just point at him? Instead of fucking, like, dude, we went there at like 1 p.m. on a Monday. Nobody was in the store. All of the blue shirt cunts were standing around doing nothing. But then this dude still had to fucking type it into his iPad and be like, all right, so I'm going to book you in with an appointment with Tom, and then he told me to go and sit down. Like, what do you mean go and sit down? He's like, go and sit down there and Tom will come right over. I'm like, no, he won't. I already know that he won't because I know your fucking system will just be some shithouse made on Apple because we're supposed to prove that our Apple products are used for work and not looking at fucking memes during the breaks of work, right? And I know what's going to happen is you're going to put it in and then it's going to get processed by the system and it's going to send a notification to Tom and he won't fucking look at it because he knows that he's seen someone go up to someone and then sit down at the desk and he's going to go, oh fuck, that means I got to do some work soon. I'll leave it for 3 minutes. And that is exactly what happened. None of these cunts were looking at their phones and then one of them does and goes, oh, I guess I better do something. And he walks up to me and he's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, man, my phone's fucked. Can you fix this? And I don't think that it's me. Because I had already decided I was not going to pay for that shit, all right? It was clearly a common issue that happened to all of the phones of my model. And I'm like, I'm not paying for this shit. So he has a look and immediately I tell him the problem and I saw in his face, like, you know when you tell a customer service guy a problem and it's only ever happened to you once, but you see in their face that it happens to everybody. So you'll start talking about it and they immediately understand what you're going to say. I saw that in his face. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm in the right here. I'm not going to be paying for this because clearly it's a common issue, which means they fucked up when they built the phone or some shit. So I talked to him and he goes, yep, sweet, I got all of it. Right, so I'm going to take your phone, and then he starts making me fill out some forms, and then at the bottom of the form, it says that it'll be $75. Oh no, I didn't see that, right? He gives me these forms to sign. I'm like, yeah, my name's Lewis, blah, blah, blah. And then they hid the price somewhere in the fucking form. I didn't see it. And then he gives me this other form. He takes my phone and he gets me to unlock the phone and then write down my passcode, which was fine because obviously they need to get into the phone to have a look at everything. But then he gets me to go into the settings and turn off Find My iPhone, which just scared the shit out of me. I was like, hang on, why do you need to turn off Find My iPhone? If you don't know, Find My iPhone, it's like a thing where basically you can go onto your computer, type in your Apple password, and you can turn the phone on from your computer and then use the GPS to actually see where it is, right? In case you lose it. I'm like, hang on, why do you need me to turn that off? What does that have to do with the camera? And he's like, oh, you know, it's standard and we have to do it. I'm like, no. Tell me why you need me to turn this off. Because I'm not saying that you're an asshole. I'm not saying that you're going to do this, but I bet someone has stolen a phone. Someone who works here has stolen a phone and then been like, I don't know, we lost it. And Find My iPhone is turned off. Why do you need to turn it off? If you can tell me why it needs to be turned off, I'll turn it off. And he's like, oh, well, because, you know, it's standard procedure and I can't put it through the system. I'm like, no, I'm not turning it off, all right? I'm sorry. Fix my screen, fix my fucking lens, and I'll monitor it from my computer to make sure it's still in your office and it doesn't go for a ride or be switched with another model, which has happened to me before. I remember when I was like 14, I took my phone in because the screen was broken, and then I got it back the second day, and they had just given me another person's phone, like someone else's. It was the same model, it was the same color, same everything, but the information on it and the photos on it was somebody else's. And I went back in the next day with my mum, and she's like, this is not his phone. And he's like, what do you mean? You gave us a Nokia whatever the fuck, and we gave you back a Nokia whatever the fuck. It's the same model. That's the phone. I'm like, and mum didn't really understand technology, so we just took a loss on that one. But they clearly just fucked us, right? And just gave us someone else's phone. And then the person whose phone that was maybe just got my one. And so it's happened to me before, so I'm like, I'm not turning off Find My iPhone unless you can tell me why. And I just made his job hard, and Jazz is there going, just turn it off. I'm like, no, I'm not going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it off. Next thing you know, the guy's going to go on my Facebook page because the fucking internet code is being disabled and he knows it, and he's going to post a whole bunch of gay porn on my page. I'm going to get deleted, and then my career is fucking over. I'm leaving Find My iPhone on. And I just went back and forth with this guy, and he was just like, I saw him go, you know what? Fine, whatever. And he just put it through, and I won, and I was like, yes, finally, a win for Louis, all right? And then they took my phone, and then I bought my girlfriend the watch. I got her an Apple Watch, which I was really happy to do, because I think it was like the first time in at least 2 years when I've actually gotten her something nice, when I've had the money to get her a nice thing. Because I think the year before that, I got her like what did I get? I got like a custom book made that was like a cartoon book about our relationship made, and that was really cute, but it was like $40. Like, really, I got it because, like, really, that's not the gift. You get the gift, and then, by the way, I also got you this cute book. But I could only afford the book. And then the year before that, when I had even less money, I think I just wrote her a nice card. So this year it felt really good to actually, you know, do something nice for her and get her a thing. So I got her the Apple Watch, and she was very happy with it. And turns out she actually wasn't surprised, which sucks. She always guesses my fucking gifts. But she figured it out. Because she had mentioned it ages ago, and I forgot that she mentioned it, and then I just was like, got her a fucking watch. Because, you know, girls aren't dumb. It's like their birthday's coming up in a month. They know their boyfriend isn't going to remember. They know their boyfriend doesn't know what to get them, so they just be like, hey, this would be really cool, don't you think? I wish I could have one of them. And then you're like, oh yeah, that does look nice. And then she go, oh well, I can't afford it, so I guess I won't have one. And then they'll just look at you and see if it gets into your mind. Like, they're just waiting for that look of, oh, fuck, I'm going to get her that for her birthday, and it'll surprise her. When in reality, you've just been manipulated from the start. So that's what she did to me, and it worked. She got a fucking watch out of it, and yeah, it was cool to do that. Anyway, then we had to fucking walk around for an hour, and I'm paranoid, freaking out. Holy shit, these guys have the password to my phone. Come to think of it, why do they even need the password to my phone? You can open the iPhone camera and take photos without the password. Why do they need to get into it to look at my fucking camera? You know, usual me, paranoid over dumb shit. And my girlfriend's like, don't worry. I'm like, I'm going to go back and get my phone and then just deal with it. I don't care. Right, and then she's like, no, just leave it with it. I'm like, all right, fine, let's be reasonable. So then I go back, and I find out that they've actually tried to charge me like $75. And so they like, we fixed your phone, here it is, that'll be $75. And I'm like, I'm sorry? And he goes, oh, that'll be $75 to fix your camera. I'm like, oh, okay, did I break it? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, did I break it? Was it my fault that the camera was broken, or did it just stop working properly? And he was like, oh, well, you know, I'm like, can you tell that I dropped it? Because I didn't drop it. And he's like, oh, well, I'm like, did I scratch the lens? Is that why it couldn't focus? He's like, oh, well, I'm like, well, I looked it up online, and it turns out heaps of people are having this issue, so that makes me feel like it's not my fault that the lens broke. Makes me feel like it's your fault. Like you built a shit phone. So you should kind of own up to that and not try to charge me for your mistake. And he was like, oh, yeah, you know what, you are right. And then he just gave it to me for free. Like they just tried to fuck me. It was just the perfect Apple fucking thing where they know that they fucked up, but they just gave it a go anyway. Like, let's see how many people will pay for this. That's the future of companies, man. That's what they're all doing now, where they just try and see what they can get away with, and anything you let them get away with, they fucking will. And you know what? It works. Like, there were 30 fucking employees working in that blue shirt cunt store, right? And there were no customers, but you know they were still turning a stupid profit. And it's because of dumbasses who go in there to get their lens fixed, not knowing that it's Apple's fault. They think that they dropped it or some shit, and then they pay the $70. Like, the dude didn't even fight me on it. I gave him one objection to paying the $70, and then he was like, fair enough, we'll let you have it for free. And then he was like, he made it sound like it was a favor to me. It's like, dude, you're not doing anything nice. You're just doing what's right. You built a shit phone, fix it for free. Anyway, I gotta stop going there because every time I go there, it turns into a 10-minute rant. All right, let's get into the worst part of the podcast, shall we? Now, you know, we've been to the worst place in the planet, the fucking blue shirt cunt store, and now it's time for the worst part of the podcast. If you don't know, miscellaneous bit at the end is the part where I answer questions sent in from the listeners, you guys. If you would like to send in a question, don't make it about me. I want to help you guys, right? I love giving life advice, or even if you saw, I don't know, something that might be interesting for me to talk about. You know what I want to talk? You know what actually, I should say this before we start. I want to come up with a new segment for this podcast because I really enjoyed talking about that guy that built a tank and demolished a town and then killed himself. Like, I thought that was the coolest way to die. I want you guys to send me news articles or stories that you've heard of, like, the coolest way that anyone has ever died. Doesn't have to be suicide. There's no real... It could be like a guy from the army doing some badass shit. I want, like, the coolest ways that people have died and the dumbest ways that people have died. So if you have a story of an idiot dying, you got to find a cool one and send that as well, right? Because I want to read out once a week the dumbest way someone has died, ridicule that person, and then uplift the listeners by reading out the coolest way that someone has died, all right? Or even we could have a debate over whether or not this actually is a dumb way to die or a cool way to die. Because I'll be honest, I read about a guy who bought like way too many fireworks and he fucked up and they all exploded and then killed him. And everyone was like, you're an idiot. That guy's dumb. And I was like, I don't know, man. It's pretty cool. Going up with fireworks. Like that's an awesome way to die. Like at least it's spectacular, you know? Like no one can really say that they've died and, you know, people walking past were like, oh, cool, fireworks. So yeah, the dumbest way that people have died and also the coolest way that someone has died. Send me in your news articles or your stories or even shit that you've just heard. Like, I'll take it as fact. I don't care. To podcast@losespears.com. That's the email if you want to send shit in. If you have a life advice question or a dumb way, cool way to die, podcast@losespears.com. All right. First one. G'day, you Eiffel Tower looking cunt. That's a new one. Call me Swallows. Why? Why the fuck would I call you Swallows? Dude, there's no way I'm calling another dude Swallows. I'm going to call you fucking Michael. All right, Michael. So to start this bit, the miscellaneous bit at the end off, I'll mention that there's a mate in my group. I call him Fister with Asperger's. Dude, I'm sure this sounded funny when you wrote it down, but me reading it out is just fucking lame. So I'm going to call you mate Tom, all right? Tom's got Asperger's. Michael is emailing in. He's been a good guy for the last few years, and we've all liked him, but lately he's been a real retarded dickhead and annoying. We all get shitty with him and talk a bit of shit when he's not around. He's gone to New Zealand the other week on a holiday, and I was sick all week. I found out the other day that last week a few of my mates went into his locker and put an open mustard container in his locker with a bunch of smelly shit on his pencil case to stain it with the smell during school holidays. Oh, that's brutal. School holidays, that's the ultimate. If you ever want to fuck with somebody's locker, do it on the last day of school holidays so it stays there for a month, because not even the teachers will leave, right? They're not going to smell it. It will only start smelling bad like the next day, and that's when nobody's there. So it'll fuck up the whole room when everybody comes home. Hilarious shit. They also tied a tampon to the ceiling of his locker. I think it's fucking hilarious, but the problem is that Tom has been suicidal in the past. He used to pull his hair out and have mental breakdowns as a kid. Yeah, I can't condone this anymore. You can't fuck with a suicidal person, because they're not a suicidal person, they're a mentally ill person. Do you know what I mean? Like someone who tries to kill themselves, it's not a healthy thing to do mentally. That's someone who's dealing with depression or, you know, some other hectic mental illness that would push them to that, or horrible shit that has happened in their life that you might not know about. You know what I mean? Like that's not, you can't fuck with those people, because really often it just takes one thing that pushes them over the edge. Yeah, it's a bit fucked, man. He used to pull his hair out and have mental breakdowns as a kid. This fucking with a locker, that's the kind of thing that you do to your friend, and then you tell them that you did it, and they laugh, and then they get you back even worse. It's not the kind of thing that you do to the kid who has no fucking friends and everybody hates him, because that just reaffirms that feeling of, oh, I've got no mates. He's been fine, but like I said, he's been fucking weird this year. Well, is he fine or is he weird? A couple of months ago, a bunch of us went to a girl's party, which he did not get an invite to, and we were talking about it on Monday. At the end of the period, he left school and wasn't back for 2 days. When he came back, we asked what happened, and he said he drove to the ocean. We live 4 hours away from the ocean. Yeah, bro, see, that's not a happy dude. Like, he didn't get invited to something, and he drove to the ocean because he thought it would make him feel better, because that's what he saw in a fucking movie once. Like, people who drive to the ocean after a bad thing, that's like the step before driving to a noose. All right, especially if it's 4 hours, bro. I'm worried that seeing this done to his locker by his friends could cause the cunt to kill himself, as not going to a party made him freak out. Yeah. What should I do, Lewis? P.S. I love the podcast. Keep it up. Look, it sounds like you are not as friendly with him as you think you are, because from what you said that you're friends, but you also talk shit about him, and you also find him annoying, and you also don't invite him to parties. So maybe you should take a look at what you define of as friend. Maybe he's just an acquaintance that you don't like very much. I don't know. But yeah, you should not, don't let this happen, man. Here's what I would do. This is because clearly the guy's obviously dealing with some shit, and he's already worried about people not liking him. You're right. If he doesn't get invited to a party, that making him drive to the fucking beach 4 hours, him coming home from school holidays to have what will be the entire year level laughing at him, and he'll be the guy who got stinky lockered across the holidays. Like, he'll be that guy. It's not a good idea, especially, fucking teenagers. Everyone's going through some shit at that age and feeling sad. I would call the school. Don't dob yourself in. Don't dob your mates in. Just say, hey, or even do it from don't do it from an email address, because there's no way you can guarantee they actually get it. What I would do is I would call the school, figure out a number you can call. There should always be somebody there, even during school holidays, and just tell them that you saw somebody put some shit in a locker. Don't tell them who you are. Don't tell them who did it. Just say, hey, yeah, a whole bunch of people put some shit in a locker. I don't know whose locker it was, but it'll probably get really stinky by the holidays. And they'll just open it up and clean it out. And then your mate won't have to deal with that shit. Or you could tell him about it. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Look, I would... Yeah, I would call the school and just tell them anonymously, because you don't want to be the fucking dude who makes him feel sad. It doesn't sound like he's going to take it well, the way you've described him. Shit like pulling his hair out. That's also not a mentally sound thing to do. Like that sounds like some serious issues type shit. So yeah, I'm all for fucking with your mates, but don't fuck with the guy who's been suicidal and who clearly has issues. Do you know what I mean? Because they're just going to take it in the worst way possible. It's not going to seem like a joke to that person. And that's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to get these episodes early, by the way, I'm starting to record all podcast episodes on Thursday because it just gives me time for shit to go wrong. I used to do them on Saturdays, but it's just too close to Sunday, so I'm going to start recording them on Thursdays. So if you want to get the podcast on like Thursday night or Friday, consider supporting me on Patreon. If you give me a couple bucks a month, you get access to all of my shit early, and we've got a Facebook group as well, and it's a cool thing, and it allows me to pay people. Like I've just put a call out for camera people on my Facebook for people who can film for me, and I've got some great people who have applied, and I feel happy getting back to them because I can actually pay them if they film shit for me for bi-monthly bull, like just going out and doing vox pop stuff, because I realized that I only ever had one cameraman, who was Tom, and he's getting super busy working on things, and he can't be on call. And I realized that if I hit him up to film something and he said no, I would just be fucked. So I realized I needed like 3 or 4 reliable people that I can kind of have there, and I know that they can come out and I can pay them. And Patreon lets me do that, and that's why I was able to put a call out to attract new people, because Tom used to do shit for me for free, and then I started making money so I could pay him a little bit of money, and now I can kind of just do that with other people, but pay them for their work, which is a really cool feeling. It's one thing to be able to do what you do, but to be able to pay people for it is really cool. I mean, I'm not paying people a lot of money. I mean, really, if you think about it, I am ripping people off, but it's all I can afford, so it's good to at least pay someone something and buy them lunch. I don't know. Anyway, this is very boring, isn't it? Support me on Patreon. Give me a rating on iTunes as well. Subscribe, share the podcast around, tell your friends, and I will see you next Sunday. Have a shit one.